They do some of the world's toughest jobs.
There's those that are tough, and then there's those that think they're tough.
Using one of the world's toughest helicopters.
The power is a narcotic. It's addictive.
This heavy lifter builds towers.
There's a lot of wind, a lot of noise, and it makes everybody's excitement level go up.
Woohoo! That's what I'm talking about, baby.
January 2008. It takes nerves of steel to raise steel into the sky. The job to build a 425-meter radio tower, 9 meters and 3.6 tons at a time.
It's kind of weird.
It's no ordinary day at work. One helicopter, 3 pilots, and the tower crew work as a team. If a pilot makes a wrong move, the tower could collapse, taking the lives of the crew with it.
A lot of pressure, right?
This job will take power and precision. The tower is an engineering innovation. It's designed to be built with the aircrane. From a distance, the aircrane may look like a harmless dragonfly, but this beast is a powerhouse. Nearly 27 meters long and 5.5 meters tall. 6 blades and 9,000 horsepower deliver a climb rate of 1,200 meters a minute and the ability to lift her own weight, 9,000 kilograms. The flight crew brings the aircrane to life. Danger is an occupational hazard. Whether lining up a 3.5-ton chunk of steel from the air.
This is like driving a pickup versus a semi-trailer. It takes more time to turn it and more effort.
Sucking up some 10,000 liters of water to kill a raging wildfire.
It's amazing how this job can get you really caught up in what you're doing and maybe do some things that you probably, if you saw it on a movie, would think, you know, the guy's out of his mind.
Or doing a little tree pruning off the side of a mountain.
When I came out here, my first tour it's an absolute shock.
In the mountains of Nevada, Texas tower builder H.C. Jeffries is raising a 425-meter broadcast tower for Las Vegas radio station KRRN-FM. The tower will be as tall as New York's Empire State Building. It's built in sections. The Texas team takes one 3.6-ton chunk of steel and stacks it on top of another. Then they bolt the pieces together. There are 48 sections. Each one is 9 meters tall, the height of a 3-story house. And what stops the tower from swaying, even crashing down? 12 sets of guy wires. Just like on a tent, the same principle applies. But these guy wires are made of steel. Each one weighs up to 1,400 kilograms. From here to the top of the tower, the aircrane will put the sections and guy wires in place. 2 men lead the project. The aircrane's main man is Mark Lumry. He's a tough ex-Marine. He's also smart. He's already built this tower inside his head.
You build the tower in your sleep. You build the tower when you're eating. You think about it constantly. And try to picture every detail.
Herb Jeffries from Texas is a veteran tower builder. He supervises the construction of huge concrete footings for the guy wires. 6 months were spent just to prepare the site for the aircrane. Nothing on this job is easy.
This specific site is challenging because of its location and the mountains.
That's one reason why Herb chose to build this tower by heavy lift helicopter. 6962 Romeo, aka Olga. Olga has had her fair share of construction firsts. She topped Toronto's CN Tower in 1976, making it the world's tallest freestanding structure. This tower job is every bit as dangerous. It takes 3 pilots to fly the aircrane on a construction job. The most important is the backseat driver.
More left.
Okay, you're on the guys there.
Max Evans might look like he's playing a video game in the back, but his steady hand on the joystick operates the fine control that flies the 3.5-ton payload into place.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Construction work, of course, is with people around at close tolerances, and so the back seat, which has this kind of like fine tuning, or the power steering part of it, is more accurate, and so we fly from back there.
And nobody does it better than Max.
Erickson has a lot of wonderful pilots. We've worked with many of them, but Max has that special touch.
The aircrane sets down in the Nevada desert. The Texas team have laid out the steel sections ready for lifting. Not much else here but a fuel truck and a little shelter for pilots and mechanics. After 6 months of preparation, everything is ready to go. The day starts early in a desert diner. And while the tough Texans fuel up, Max completes his pre-flight check. It's time to see if the aircrane is up to the job. Mark Lumry brings the tower team and the flight crew together for the crucial safety meeting.
We'll be up in the tower with you guys today. Whatever problems you got, you leave them down here on the ground or actually back behind that gate.
The tower team now have to face the dangers of working under a large and powerful helicopter and its 6 whirling rotor blades.
Today, we're going to be blowing about 70 miles an hour. A rotor wash today. Anything that's laying around on the ground could become a lethal projectile. I don't want to sound like a hard ass, but that's just the way it is, because I want to see everybody go home with all their digits, fingers, toes, and most importantly, their lives.
It's time to build, and build fast. There will be a tower here in 10 days if all goes according to plan.
A little stubby right now. Won't be long. Should be tall. You're going to be on HD, so you're probably going to want to zip your pants up. All right. I got an extra beanie hat if you need it when we get up there.
The top of the tower is no ordinary work site, and everyone here knows that a fall would be deadly.
Once you get up over, 20, 30 feet, you're high enough to, for your survival instinct to kick in.
Mark Lumry is the only one of the aircrane crew to climb the tower with the Texans. He knows how dangerous it is.
We had to work with some other companies and really just, frankly, scared the crap out of us. Did not seem to have the mental capacity to understand that the dangers involved. Well, I have to tell you, it's awful nice being back up in the sky with you guys. When I'm gone, I miss you.
Down below, it's time for the final safety check. This helicopter has 55,000 parts, so crew chief Eric Weaver and mechanic Ryan Moore like to keep a close eye on things.
Okay, guys, everything looks good out here.
Once the engines are running and the head's turning, that's when all the fluids are moving and the parts and pieces are moving. So if something is broken or not quite right or leaking, then that's our best chance to find a problem if there is a problem.
Okay, we're good. Here we go. Okay. You got it? So you want us to go ahead and hook up there, Mark? Yep, go ahead. All right. The inverter's on, igniters are on.
Now it's time to fly.
Radio's on, everything on.
The 6 rotor blades on the 9-ton aircrane are spinning wings. They create lift. The 2 Pratt & Whitney turboshaft engines burn almost 1,900 liters of jet fuel every hour. This supplies the 4,500 shaft horsepower that drive the blades. The lifting power of a helicopter is also determined by the number of blades it has. The aircrane's 6 blades and 2 massive engines make it one of the most powerful lifters anywhere.
The lifting capability of the crane is still phenomenal.
Okay, I'm just going to left pedal turn, okay?
It's just a big monster, and it just does a terrific job of lifting. And
come up a little bit higher if you want here. Okay.
Still the best lifter for your money there.
Okay, coming towards the unit. Come more in down. Yeah, Herb, hook that blue hook to the B leg there, ladder leg, and then the white one to the top there. Coming out of the aircraft right now. Yeah, I have it here. You got it. I got the pedal.
Carefully, Max positions the helicopter to hook up the 3.5-ton tower section.
See channel there. Some places over there. Okay, coming on our nose, Max. Sure. They're about 6.5. Okay, yeah, I'll take it. Choker okay on the outside there, I guess.
Herb Jeffries guides this operation. It's vital that no dirt remains on the pads at the bottom of the legs. They have to connect the tower precisely.
All right, here we go. And kind of heads up there.
On this first flight, Fran Tebby takes the left seat. His job is to fly the helicopter and position it into the wind over the top of the tower. Then Max will take over from the back seat.
Okay, here we come.
All right, I got you loud and clear up here. We're set on top.
Hey, Mark, what's the wind up there?
8.5 knots off a sea leg.
Off a sea, huh?
Off of A leg.
You can hear the helicopter pretty far off, even on a mountaintop. You can usually hear it crank. That usually gets your adrenaline going. And then once your adrenaline's going, your awareness kicks in, you know. And when you become aware of it, you pretty much keep your eye on it the whole time.
The blades create a downwash of hurricane force. Max must keep the 3.5-ton section centered in the eye of the wash as he moves it into position. A patented anti-rotation device is key. It holds the tower section in place below the helicopter. The cable rig that holds the tower section attaches to a triangular spreader bar. This locks into a grooved ring that is fixed to the helicopter. The pilots use this system to position each section exactly where they want it.
We don't have to worry about things spinning around and getting out of control, hopefully.
This triangle seems like the spreader bar looks like.
When the helicopter turns, it turns this whole mechanism. And yet, as you can see, it moves back and forth and moves side to side so that the load can stand underneath. The helicopter can lean into the wind and do what it has to do, and the load stays straight up and down and oriented.
Once over the tower, Max takes control. The rear of the helicopter is designed for construction. Max has a wraparound view to allow him to see the load clearly and use the joystick to maneuver.
You're below the guide.
Unlike the operator of a ground-based construction crane, Max does not use a hoist to move his load up and down. He flies the section into position.
A lot of people call him a crane operator. However, he's actually flying the helicopter. When the load goes up or down, he flies the helicopter up or down, and sets it that way. It's really a neat deal.
Max knows the lives of the crew below him are in his hands. Lowering a 3.5-ton section of steel from a helicopter isn't easy. It's potentially deadly. From the top of the tower, it looks like Max is getting plenty close, even too close.
Like balancing on a beach ball, you get too wild and crazy, you'll fall off it.
Lumry communicates with the helicopter by radio. He will guide Max's load down, centimeter by centimeter.
Very intent on calling the elevation, because if he gets lower than the tower and drifts into the tower, we're all on the outside. It might look like just a touch, but these tower sections are picking up about 8,000 pounds, and there's no one I know that could withstand a brush of 8,000 pounds.
To keep the men on the tower safe, Max can lower each section without help from below. At the top of each tower section, the team have fixed a set of angle guides that help to position it into exactly the right spot.
The angle guides are designed to act as a funnel. This will be standing up on the tower already, and then we'll bring the top section in. It'll line up by catching this guide and slide it right into position. And this locking pin will slide through the bolt hole and lock in place and just sits it right down, just like that.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. High inches, low inches. You're just missing high inches, low inches, you're trapped. There's low inches off the make. Okay, easy forward and left. Just a touch forward right there. Come on down. Give me on the way. Back off.
All the way.
And cut her loose.
And there's slack and cut her loose. More hooks 3-way. And you have it. Finally, when the set's good there. Yeah, that was nice.
Full speed ahead, full speed ahead.
One down, 41 to go. The crew on the tower have only minutes to bolt the section into place. climb to the top of it and be ready to receive the next one when the helicopter returns. 2 more sections have gone perfectly into place, but now the team have to attach the guy wires, and that's not going to be easy. Flying lines like this will use skills that the pilots have developed on a very different kind of job. Long line logging in a very different part of the world.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, even. Looking good.
The team in Nevada now have to fly the guy wires into place. The Texas tower builders attached 2 sets of guy wires before the aircrane arrived. Grueling work in this tough terrain. Once the team fastened the guy wires to the tower and the anchors, they added tension until the tower was straight. The pilots have to fly the rest of the guy wires from the valley below into the waiting hands of the men on the tower. In theory, this job should be just like flying the long lines used for logging. But these guy wires are much longer, some more than 800 meters.
The guy wires are going to be laid out at the site and have to be flown in, basically like a long line.
These are going to be the longest guy wires we've flown, correct?
That's right. That, to my knowledge, is the longest anybody's flown. That would be 2,700 feet long.
These are just a different kind of load. I mean, with long line logging, we generally operate with 200, 250 feet are our standard cable lengths.
Even Max Evans is worried.
Hauling these long guy wires up is the trickiest part and most nerve-wracking.
To a construction pilot, control of the load is everything, and these guy wires are difficult to control.
As you make an input, the momentum in the middle of the line will start swaying back and forth and kind of whipping the bottom of the line, like cracking a whip.
With men on the ground and on the tower, this lack of control is potentially deadly. The heavy steel cable could take off a man's head with just one flick, or sever an existing guy wire. That could bring the tower down.
Yeah, we could touch it or hit it or pop a guy wire or something like that. You worry, think about that. Those are the things that you wake up in the middle of the night and worrying and dreaming about or something like that.
But there's a job to be done, and no one on this crew will run away from the challenge.
And I'm still searching for the tail here. Okay, I'll come up there a little bit.